Good afternoon and thank you all for joining us in this edition of Business Today. It is the Christmas week and wherever it is that you're at, in case you are holidaying somewhere or vacationing for that matter, would like to hear from you. Let us know how it's going there. If the rates there are actually very affordable or favorable, you might want to let us know. And so our Twitter poll question this afternoon, we're asking you whether or not you think the prices wherever it is that you are or the rates are favorable where you are vacationing. That is our Twitter poll question this afternoon. If you are on Christmas already, are the domestic tourism rates favorable where you are vacationing? Would like to hear from you. And in studio with us, we've got Chris Diaz, who is the Director for Marketing and Communications at Kenya Airways. He's going to be talking to us about the latest news coming in from Kenya Airways, saying they've actually increased the routes to Mombasa. Is this as a result of increased numbers of people holidaying in Mombasa or vacationing there? Would like to hear from you too. You can take part and ask him some questions that you might be having this afternoon. Also a look at the domestic and international tourist numbers is going to be letting us in on that too. So that and more is coming up. We'll also be crossing over to Mombasa, where Francis Ontoma is going to be giving us details on how the tourist numbers are looking and also how the businesses there are faring ahead of the Christmas season or Christmas Day for that matter. Well, welcome to the show. My name is Joy Doreen Vera. And ahead of the Christmas festive season, domestic and international tourists are taking their long-planned vacations to relax and make merry. And national carrier Kenya Airways has reported a spike in bookings ahead of the Christmas holiday on the Mombasa route, and the 234-seater Dreamliners will be flying to Mombasa between the 23rd and 24th of December and also between January the 2nd and the 3rd of 2017. And so now to help us understand how the airline is doing in regard to the numbers, we're joined by Chris Diaz, the Director of Marketing and Communications. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Joy Doreen.
Well, you have increased the flights to Mombasa. Should we say it's only Mombasa where our tourists are heading, or there are other parts of the country that are getting busier too?
Great question. Definitely we are flying to Kisumu, and Kisumu is very busy.
Yeah.
Lamu, Kunda using Jumbo Jet is very busy. Malindi is very busy. Mombasa is extremely busy, and it's traditional, historical for a lot of Kenyans, a lot of East Africans, and a lot of international tourists to fly to Mombasa, which is a favorite destination during Christmas and New Year's.
Right. And so are we ditching the Embraers and taking on the Dreamliners around this period, or it's just a combination of both of them?
It's a combination of both, because 23rd and 24th, so we have 7 Embraers going down to Mombasa, going and coming, so it's a 96-seater capacity aircrafts. And then we have the Dreamliner of 234. So we have 9 on 23rd and then 10 going down on 24th. Don't forget there's a lot of the same traffic coming back into Nairobi. So on the 2nd and 3rd of January 2017, we have the Dreamliners again coming back into Nairobi, and also the 737-800, which are bigger capacity aircrafts.
All right. So according to the dates we're looking at and the ones that were posted on your site, these Dreamliners are flying between the 24th and the 25th and the 2nd and the 3rd, respectively. So do we say that there are more numbers on these dates flying down to Mombasa back and forth?
So a quick correction, it's 23rd, 24th into Mombasa, and you're right, 2nd and 3rd January into Nairobi. Yes, we have already seen quite a high traffic numbers, bookings already in the system, and a lot of the tourists going down are going for the holidays. So we see both ways high traffic numbers coming through. All
right, are you able to tell us if these are local tourists or international tourists who are making these bookings?
So the exciting thing, Joy Doreen, is that 730,000 tourists have come into Kenya between January and October, which is 16% higher than same time last year.
Wow.
Number of tourists coming through Jomo Kenyatta, which is KQ's hub, and Kenya Airways headquarters in terms of Terminal 1A, in terms of domestic, is grown by 14% traffic coming through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. So these are already signs of traffic, of tourism recovery coming through. And we also thank His Excellency the President, the Cabinet Secretary Balala for all the marketing and all the attractions that are in Kenya that we have highlighted to the rest of the world. The other attractive thing is a lot of domestic tourists are going to Mombasa. So a big thank you to the Kenyans for supporting the hotels and supporting Kenya Airways.
All right. From this, and I know that you are here in two capacities, both in Kenya Airways and Brand Kenya, but can you be able to tell us about the rates for local tourists? You know, a lot of them have been hesitating to travel to the coast, especially around this time, because they think that it's a time when international tourists are flocking down the coast, and so the rates go up. But tell us about the rates right now.
I think the rates are very good. As far as KQ Holidays, we have a brand that takes care of packages, are very attractive. So both as an airline, as a hotels, we have combined some good packages. We have different budgets of packages down at the coast. So you have to look at 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star. And I think it's good to go during Christmas. And for us to continue into the 2017, we carry on celebrating 2017. So our guests and Kenyans can go when the rates also drop in the low season. Between January and March, for the airlines and the hotels give great offers because it's on the low season for most airlines.
All right. Well, the numbers for domestic tourism were being placed at 47%. I think the last numbers that we looked at. And we are trying to figure what exactly interests the local tourists in the country today. Is it just the beach tourism, or do we have wildlife tourism, or is it just the leisure tourism that they're most interested in?
So that's a great question, because it's a combination of many things. First, the coast is a great experience for relaxation. Besides the beach, you also have award-winning beaches, both in Diani and Watamu and Malindi. Lamu, again, it's the food, it's the culture, it's the music, it's the fashion. If you look also, there's sports, a lot of great sports like kite surfing. I'm sure you're going with the family to Mombasa, so you could be doing kite surfing, you could be skydiving, you could be doing, diving into the ocean. There's lots to do. And don't forget, there is the forest, Araboko Sosoke, there is the Kwale National Reserve. So there's a lot around wildlife and the great experience of Kenya.
All right. Are we seeing increased numbers of young Kenyans, or we're still seeing the same age group of people who save up their money, from the beginning of the year until the end, and not impulsive holiday makers? Because they say the millennials happen to just decide, spontaneously, let's head to Mombasa. And then the next day they're like, let's go to Kisumu. Are you having certain demographics of people going down or, visiting different parts of the country?
That's a very interesting question, Joy Doreen, because we have a lot of the millennials going down. Of course, there are huge beach parties and huge parties going to happen for Christmas and New Year celebrations. But then you get also the elderly folks, and you get also the different teenagers and different groups going, and people also go for time to relax, and the religious people. So all segments are going down. But for sure, the youth are a big segment of the demographics and the business for the tourism industry at the coast.
All right. And I'm sure it's not all rosy, especially when it comes to flights. We have seen some delays on some of the flights, and I guess the recent days have not been good for Kenya Airways. So do we expect that around the festive season, all these issues have been sorted out?
First, to be very open with you, most airlines during peak seasons have a lot of little delays because the traffic is very high. And don't forget, we are connecting traffic from all over the world. Kenya Airways is the only African airline in the Sky Team, so we connect 1,000 destinations coming into Nairobi. So we really feel that we do apologize occasionally. There are delays, but we try and communicate very well to our guests. But it will be a busy Christmas, and we expect to keep all flights on schedule, and we'll do our best to see our operations support the schedule.
So we're not ruling out the delays. They're likely to be there because of the traffic.
Well, I think the delays are coming down to minimal, and we are doing everything possible for a greater experience. And we look forward to a great Christmas in 2017.
All right. From the branding perspective of Kenya, is Kenya looking much better now than it was last year around this time?
Yeah, from a branding perspective, Kenya is positioning itself very strongly as an African nation. It's among the top 5, top 10 countries. If you look at the branding statistics from Wall Street Journal or from some of the bigger organizations that measure the brand equity for country branding. And we feel Kenya has won 20 awards in the World Travel Awards. That's a huge achievement for Kenya as a country, not only as brand experience, but as destination marketing. So Kenya has a great future. We have a general elections coming up in 2017. The way we as Kenyans, we are cohesive and we are peaceful and we work positively to message Kenya is a great nation, great safe place to come and visit. I think those are key for our leaders and everyone in Kenya to come together to position Kenya to the world.
All right. Neighboring countries have aggressively as well marketed their tourism. And tell us about the numbers coming in from the neighboring countries like Rwanda and Uganda, Tanzania and South Sudan.
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because you see 55,000 tourists annually come from Uganda, 60,000 from the neighboring countries. Both Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, the East African community, even tourists coming out from Zambia, coming out to Kenya is on the increase. And we feel we have great destination. The people of Kenya are very hospitable. So we give a great experience. Lots of new hotels coming up. You can see Radisson Blu, Marriott, a number of big hotels and big brands global are investing in Kenya going forward. So this is a great signs of tourism industry that is recovering and higher numbers coming into Kenya.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chris. We'd appreciate time taken to talk to us about, these increased routes to Mombasa, but also giving Kenya the much needed presence that it needs during this festive season.